What's going on, guys? This is VinylicPuma, back with another Borderlands video, and today I'd like to go over the best farming methods to get any class mod in this game. So whether it be the Blue Rarity Banshee class mod for Maya, the Chaotic Evil Monk class mod that you're trying to get for Salvador, or even some legendary class mods, this video will go over how to get them all in the best and most efficient ways possible. Real quick, and before we start, it is important that you smash like for these 3 Tubby spider ants here. You've got to admit that you haven't seen 3 Tubby spider ants before, and like any bad magician, I'll reveal how this was done later on in the video. So be sure to smash like and leave a comment below on what your favorite class mod in Borderlands 2 is. Otherwise, guys, let's just jump into it here and talk about the hardest class mod to find, which is the Slayer of Terramorphous. Now, nothing is harder than finding a Terramorphous, because they are ever elusive, ever fugacious, and I can't keep this poor attempt at a gag up anymore. Obviously, if you want a Slayer of Terramorphous class mod, you have to defeat Terramorphous, who appears at Terramorphous Peak, and a certain other place that I bet no one in the comment section below knows. Anyway, the guaranteed method is to farm Terra at Terramorphous Peak, and for simply defeating Terra, you are guaranteed to get a Slayer of Terramorphous class mod for any character. While there's usually better stuff out there for most characters, the Slayer of Terramorphous class mod could be best described as a poor man's version of the vanilla legendary class mod on characters like Axton, Salvador, Maya, and Zero. Gauges, on the other hand, is an essential piece of equipment for her because it boosts pre-shrunk Cyberpunk, which boosts your overall stack count, so you should definitely come here and get a Slayer of Terramorphous class mod if you're playing as Gage. As for Krieg, the general consensus I've gotten is that it's a good class mod, but like the other characters, you can probably find better and more specialized stuff for him, so you may not necessarily need a Slayer of Terramorphous if you're playing as Krieg. If you want a Slayer of Terramorphous, again, just beat Terramorphous a few times until you get the right class mod for your character. However, now, let's move on to the more desirable class mod type across all characters, which are Blue Rarity class mods. The main advantage of Blue Rarity class mods is that they provide a +6 bonus to your character's skills, which can't normally be achieved via legendary class mods. Unlike their legendary counterparts, which usually have a designated drop, blue and purples don't have a designated drop. However, there is a very effective way to basically get these, which will require some DLC. However, if you're playing on PS4 and Xbox One, you already have this DLC, and if you're playing on PC, it's the Christmas-themed Headhunter pack known as the Marcus Mercenary Day add-on. All you have to do is beat the main story missions, which involves defeating Tinder Snowflake, and upon doing so, you'll be prompted to return to the town where a loot train is waiting for you. Upon pulling the lever and looking towards the top, you'll find around 6 or so class mods, which, depending on the difficulty you're playing at, are usually Blue Rarity or higher. The nice thing about doing this is that every time you beat Tinder Snowflake, you can get this loot train to appear, and there are always guaranteed class mods that will appear in the loot train chest. Because of this, you can use this method to basically get Blue Rarity class mods, and while it may take some time to get the ones that you want with the precise skill boosts, it's usually a bit faster to do it this way than farming other chests within the game, or maybe farming medical vendors. So I would say if you want Blue Rarity class mods for any character, simply head over to the Marcus Mercenary DLC and farm the loot train, as it's arguably the best source of them in both the vanilla and add-on content. The only real downside with this aforementioned method is that it doesn't allow you to obtain a certain other type of class mod, which are the ones that possess certain alignments like Chaotic Evil or Neutral Good, and they are from the Dragonkeep DLC. Unfortunately, there's not really any guaranteed way to obtain these. However, unassuming chests found throughout the Dragonkeep DLC can be a great source, and there are a couple of farming routes that I prefer when trying to get these. The first involves traveling to an area known as the Conqueror's Crypt, which is located just beyond the boss fight area in the Immortal Woods. To access this area easily and safely, all one has to do is simply have completed the Immortal Woods area and make sure they've activated the fast travel that's in the Mines of Avarice. From here, exit the Mines of Avarice and into the Immortal Woods, and then follow the path all past the dragon enemies. After a certain point, you'll make it to the Conqueror's Crypt, where you can find 2 chests to farm, and both have the potential of containing some class mods. Our second method involves farming chests in the Dragon Keep location. Starting at the fast travel, go up the stairs and head up to your right to find the very first chest. From here, go back to the staircase and to the left, passing all of the enemies, and just to the left of the second staircase, you'll find another chest. From here, go up the second staircase and to your right, and you'll find a third chest. Then go across this area, dodging all of the enemies to the altar, and you'll find a fourth chest that is near the altar. And finally, go up the third set of stairs, look to your right, and you should be able to find the fifth and final chest. From here, just keep doing this over and over, and you'll eventually get your hands on some Dragon Keep class mods. Ultimately, between farming the Loot Train and Mercenary Day and running either one of these routes in the Dragon Keep DLC, you should be able to get your hands on pretty much any blue rarity class mod of any variety. However, now, let's go ahead and talk about the most difficult class mods to acquire, which are usually of the legendary variety. For now, we'll start with what I would refer to as the legendary vanilla class mods, which are the legendary soldier for Axton, the legendary berserker for Salvador, the legendary hunter for Zero, the legendary siren for Maya, the legendary necromancer for Gage, and the legendary psycho for Krieg. Though mentioned previously, a good way to farm for these is the Loot Train from the Marcus Mercenary DLC. After all, you're getting guaranteed class mods here in the Loot Train chest, and if you get lucky, one of the 8 or so class mods that appears could end up being a legendary class mod that you were looking for. So if you're going to go ahead and farm for blue rarity class mods anyway, you might as well keep an eye out for some legendary class mods that also appear, and ultimately end up making the process of obtaining these relatively uncommon items that much easier. Beyond the Loot Train though, and this may sound like weird advice, but I would recommend you not necessarily seek out vanilla legendary class mods and try to farm for them while farming for other legendaries instead. This is because the drop rates for them are fairly low, and there's a good chance that you'll end up finding other legendaries before you find the specific class mod that you want. Also, and while it's true that Vermivorous is usually the best place to obtain legendary class mods as it's one of his designated drops, unless you have 4 people to spawn Vermivorous with, it's best to just look elsewhere. In fact, you may find you have an easier time getting these from Pyro Pete, who is easier to take down and is a great source of legendaries in general. So that's another option in addition to the Loot Train if you're having some trouble getting these. Out of all of the class mods though, I'd say the most difficult class mods to obtain in the entire game are the DLC legendary class mods that got added with Digistruct Peak. Each of the 6 characters got 3 new class mods, which usually prove to be buffed versions of some of the more popular class mods that they had previously. And like many legendary class mods, these provide 5 or 6 +5 skill buffs and tend to be significant upgrades over those standard blue and purple rarity counterparts. In order to get one of these, you usually have to farm Tubby enemies, which are extremely rare, but provide the benefit of dropping a legendary and most likely a legendary class mod every time. There are plenty of different ways you can do this, as Tubbies can come in many different varieties and can also appear in a variety of different locations. However, and for our purposes, I'd recommend that you go ahead and attempt to farm any place that spawns Tubby Skags and Tubby Spider Ants. If you're looking for some places for Tubby Skags, they are pretty prominent throughout the Arid Nexus Badlands, and Tubby Spider Ants are prominent in the dust behind Ellie's garage. You can also find both of these types of enemies at the Natural Selection Annex during the corresponding side quest missions there as well, so that's another option if you get tired of the Badlands and the dust. As alluded to earlier, it's worth noting that Tubby spawn rates are usually pretty low. Even in areas where there are a lot of potential spots where they can spawn, I've run the area like 20 tries and I've never gotten a Tubby to spawn. So farming for these class mods can take quite a bit of time. That said, if you're not too much of a stickler for modding your game on PC, you can always download Hemaxahu's More Chubbies mod and tweak the probability numbers to above 0.9 to boost the number of Tubbies that spawn, which is what I've done here to get all of the Tubbies to appear. This of course makes farming these class mods a heck of a lot easier, and can be quite enjoyable in the process as well, as it always feels like it's raining legendaries. While you won't be able to do this on console, PC players can easily take advantage of this mod as long as you're already modding your game by installing things like the community patch or Reborn. All you have to do is execute the test file upon loading in your game, and everything should be good to go. Link to Hemaxahu's mod will be in the video description. Just remember to tweak those probability numbers. At the end of the day, guys, I hope this video helped you when it came to obtaining all of these class mods in the game. As always, be sure to leave a like, click the bell, and let me know if you figured out how to get 3 Tubby spider ants in the comment section below. As always, and again, thank you all so much for supporting this channel. Take care, and I'll see you all in the next one.